So today I am here to talk about the end of year book tag. I don't think I've done this tag before, but I very well could have. But I've been seeing so many different creators put this out and I just thought it was so much fun. I really enjoyed watching other people's videos. I'll have some of my favorites linked down below. I really enjoyed Alex and Murphy's and Brittany's, so definitely looking forward to talking about these questions with you guys today. And let's just get right on into the tag. So the first question is, are there any books that you started this year that you still need to finish? Yes, I have one book, is Stamped from the Beginning by Ibram Kendi. I've had this book on my TBR since June, I think. I started reading it in June and then it got turned into the library and then I couldn't get it off of hold. It was like a whole thing, but I finally have it off of hold now, so I'm going to be trying to read that one. Hopefully this month and next month I'll be reading that, so definitely looking forward to that. I really enjoyed the first like maybe 20% that I listened to. I don't typically start books and not finish them, so it's usually there's like one book a year that I do this with, but mostly I pretty much finish every book that I start like in a timely manner. Question 2 is, do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? I wouldn't say I have anything like strictly autumnal, but I do kind of associate The Perks of Being a Wallflower with a little bit of that more like moody gray kind of weather. So I think that this might work for this prompt, but not really like anything specifically like autumny themed. Question 3, is there a new release that you're still waiting for? Honestly, I don't think there is. I just really don't have like very many new release books on like coming up on my TBR. I have a couple arcs that I want to read, but not really anything that like I am waiting to get in the mail. I know so many people are waiting on Rhythm of War, but I still haven't even continued on with the series yet, so that's not really one that I am like super excited for because it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to be reading it until next year anyway, so I'm not like dying for Rhythm of War like most people are. Most of the books that I'm going to be reading throughout the rest of the year are going to be backlist titles with just like a couple new releases thrown in. The only new release coming out before the end of the year that I'm really going to be trying to prioritize is Every Last Secret by A.R. Torre. This is a domestic thriller following like a new neighbor couple that ends up getting obsessed with their neighbors and you know, that kind of thing. Domestic thriller goodness. So this is the only like new release book that I'm really like trying to prioritize and get done before the end of the year. The next question is, what are 3 books that you're really wanting to read before the end of the year? And I've actually made a whole TBR for the end of the year. I'll have that linked up there if you'd like to see all of the books that I'm going to be reading before the end of the year, but I guess I'll talk about like the 3 I'm very most excited for. So the 3 that I'm most excited for also happen to be the 3 very longest ones. First one being Abaddon's Gate by James S.A. Corey. I've loved the first 2 books in the series, so I'm really excited to continue on with this, and I know the final book is coming out next year, so I'd really like to prioritize this series next year and get all caught up with it. It's a very like epic space opera sci-fi series with a mystery and a conspiracy and all that kind of good stuff that I love. Then of course I've also got Shadow Rising by Robert Jordan. I feel like I've been talking about these books so much recently because they're all like on my immediate TBR, so definitely really excited to continue on with this series. If you have been kind of intimidated to start the series, please check out my video up above where I talked about me being a Wheel of Time newbie, reading the first 3 books and what my thoughts were on it. I give some helpful tips to people who are just like kind of intimidated to start out on the series, so I definitely would recommend checking out that video. But I'm really excited to continue on with this one. So many people in the comments of that video said that book 4 was their favorite of the series, so I'm really looking forward to that. And then of course I've got the big daddy of all books, and that is Words of Radiance. This book comes in at over 1,000 pages. Hopefully I will have this mostly read by the end of the year. I would really like to finish this in December, but we'll see how that goes. The next question is there a book that you think could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? Well, I thought that my favorite book of the year was going to be Way of Kings, and then I read Dark Age, and then that kind of beat out Way of Kings. I am sorry guys, but Dark Age was just so good. But I thought that Way of Kings was like pretty solid as my favorite book of the year until I read Dark Age. But the only book I think that could beat it out would be Words of Radiance, so we'll see if that happens. I really don't know if it will because of how emotional I got about Dark Age. I don't know if Way of Kings will have that like same emotional punch to me, but we'll see how it goes. Have you already started making reading plans for 2021? And if anybody knows me, yes. I love making reading plans. I love making reading lists. My end of the year videos and my beginning of the year videos are my 2 favorite things to film. I love like making series I want to read before the end of the year, books I want to read before the end of the year, books I want to reread, favorite books of the year, favorite series of the year, all that. I love making those videos. So, you know, I've already got my mind going about what I'm going to be reading next year. I'm really going to be trying to focus on some of my bigger fantasy series. I'm going to try to get caught up with Stormlight Archive. I really want to read Oathbringer and Rhythm of War next year. Then I would like to get caught up to book 9 or so of Wheel of Time, so I'd like to get a little bit further on into that. I'm going to be trying to read a Wheel of Time book every other month next year, so we'll see how that goes. I'm also really wanting to get caught up on The Expanse, so my plan is to every other month read an Expanse book and then read a Wheel of Time book. So we'll see how that goes next year. I also would like to read Joe Abercrombie's backlist, so I'd really like to read the rest of the First Law universe. I'm just reading Blade itself now, so I'd like to read more of that universe next year. And I'd also like to get caught up on my Brandon Sanderson series. So those are some of my main goals. I'll be making more videos about that at the beginning of next year, talking in depth about the series that I'm going to be reading, all those different types of things, so you can stay tuned for that. But those are all the questions. I'll have them listed out in my description bar, so if you would like to do this tag yourself, you can go ahead and do that down below. But make sure to subscribe to my channel down below if you would like to see more content from me in the future and you would like to see those end of year videos that are going to be coming out next month, I guess. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'd love to know in the comments down below what your reading plans are going to be for 2021. If you've already made like your goals or a couple books that you know for sure that you really want to get to, please let me know. I'd love to know what you guys are going to be reading too. But I'll see you in the next one. Bye.